In August of 1966, the Beatles issued their 13th single, a two-sided record featuring Yellow Submarine and Eleanor Rigby. Pairing a serious ballad with a novelty song was bold, even for the Beatles, but it worked. The single topped the charts for 4 straight weeks in the UK, and in the US it peaked at number 2. Eleanor Rigby was risky at the time, and Capitol Records felt far more comfortable promoting Yellow Submarine, arguably nothing more than a children's song, at least not intentionally. By 1968, when the British animated film The Beatles' Yellow Submarine came out, Yellow Submarine was more than a catchy tune stuck in the head of anyone in proximity to a radio signal. It was a powerful symbol of counterculture, anti-war culture, Beatles culture, other aspects of culture, and perhaps it wasn't because of that particular song, but there's no denying in the late 60s the Beatles meant a lot to a lot of people around the world, and Yellow Submarine became an image associated with that meaning. An emblem of that meaning has been sitting just off the coast of New York for decades, hidden well enough that only locals and very devoted Beatles fans know about it. In truth, there's no Beatles connection here, at least not an intentional one, but there is a Yellow Submarine. This is the Coney Island Creek Boat Graveyard in Brooklyn, New York, and out there is the Questor 1, a yellow submarine completely homemade by hand from scrap metal by Jerry Bianco, local former shipyard worker and man who could build a yellow submarine in 1968 without associating it with the Beatles. To address the obvious, it's not yellow anymore. Bianco painted his submarine chrome yellow, which isn't very stable, only because it was the least expensive paint at the store. So why build this? Well, if you're going to travel under the ocean, but that was never Bianco's dream. The idea only occurred to him when he heard about rumored treasure aboard the wreck of the SS Andrea Doria, a luxury Italian cruise liner that had crashed off the coast of Nantucket in 1956. Under maritime law, anyone who could recover valuables from the wreck owned them. The factor that piqued Bianco's interest in submarines enough to actually go through with it, he'd just seen 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and found it fascinating. And that sounds ridiculous, right? Bianco never formally studied physics. He had experience repairing ships, not building submarines, and he fully intended to raise the wreck of the Andrea Doria. Of course, this was destined to fail, except it didn't, not initially. When Bianco completed the Questor 1, the Navy approved it to reach depths of up to 600 feet. That's more than enough to reach the Andrea Doria. It only stuck in a ship graveyard because of a miscommunication about how much ballast was needed to safely lower it into the water. Unlike the 24 other shipwrecks intentionally discarded here, the Questor 1 isn't really dead. And sure, it avoided total obscurity because people found meaning in the Beatles connection they would have whether or not Bianco's plan succeeded. To most people, this is Brooklyn's Yellow Submarine, and that's where the story ends. But this was never about a yellow submarine. This was never about the Beatles. That's just the meaning most people find in it. Anyone who's created anything for the public has likely faced the reality that intention doesn't always equal interpretation, which isn't easy to accept, but it's not always a bad thing. It certainly wasn't here, because if it weren't for someone who found a completely different type of meaning from watching Bianco build the submarine, no one, not even the Beatles fans, would know about it. That person was a local boy named Charles Denson. Before he was even a teenager, he started documenting the guy building a submarine in his backyard. The pair became friends, and Denson took an interest. Denson's photographs and audio recordings capture more than Bianco's process. They capture his humanity. At least for a while, Denson became this accidental anthropologist. Recent coverage of this story by reputable publications all come down to one primary source, Charles Denson. Denson founded the Coney Island History Project to archive, teach, and share the neighborhood's unique culture, and perhaps his most significant accomplishment, saving Coney Island Creek. This water used to be so polluted with toxins, coal, tar, arsenic, that if it weren't for large-scale ongoing community efforts Denson both arranged and popularized, I probably shouldn't be standing here. Bianco's goal was to build a submarine, not save a community, but in a way, he did both. And while all of that is wonderful, of course it matters that the Questor 1 never made it out to sea. Bianco was brilliant. He created from imagination and inference. He knew how to learn. He pieced together so many pieces. He built a working submarine, and he never got to use it. I can't sugarcoat this. It was a failure, but it still has meaning. That's the thing about meaning. It's unintentional. The song, the image from it, the submarine that looks like the image, the video about how all of those things are related. The meaning a person gets from those things comes from that person, not the creator. So keep going. Make the thing, even if it might fail publicly, especially if it could. You never know what kind of meaning even your failures may hold for someone else, now or in the future. As ever, thank you for watching, but wait, because the story is not over yet. Bianco was truly brilliant. The only physics he knew when he decided to build a submarine was Archimedes' principle, and I couldn't figure out how to visually demonstrate that. So I messaged my friend Gillis Lowry, an undergraduate physics student at Cornell University, an inspiringly creative science communicator just getting started out here on YouTube, because I knew Gillis would come up with a way to show just what Bianco was working with that I could never think of myself, and I was not wrong.
One day, as he was lowering himself into his bathtub, he realized that the water was rising around his body. And if he fully submerged himself under the water, then the amount of water displaced was equal to the volume of his body. This caused him so much joy that he leapt, naked, out of the bathtub, and then ran through the streets, still naked, crying "Eureka!" Now, I'm not about to strip, as it is currently 35 degrees out. And I also don't have the actual man Archimedes or an actual bathtub to demonstrate this in. But I do have these plastic babies and a bird bath.
The full video is amazing, and I highly encourage you to check it out and subscribe to Gillis' channel. Both are linked in the video and description. I, for one, am extremely excited to see all the unique work they bring to this platform going forward. And on that note, if you're not yet subscribed to this channel, I encourage you to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications, because some of the projects I'm about to bring to this channel are things I can't really believe I'm allowed to do. They're really cool, and I'd love to share them with you. Your support in growing this channel is what opens those doors, and there are so many doors that are still locked. Your growing support is what allows me to open them and share what's behind them with you. So please do consider subscribing, and to everyone who subscribed and saying subscribed, thank you so much, and I will see you next week.